Next idiom is, without his notes, he was up a creek without a paddle. It means being in a very difficult situation with no resources or clear solution. Imagine being stuck in a waterway without a paddle. Originating from 19th century American frontier life, it reflects literal danger, capturing utter helplessness. Let's see it in action. First, when the projector failed, the presenter was up a creek without a paddle, having no backup. Second, she forgot her wallet, leaving her up a creek without a paddle at checkout. Both illustrate lacking essential tools or resources, leaving one unprepared and stuck, with no way forward.
Other idioms. In a bind or between a rock and a hard place. Our idiom conveys a complete lack of tools or options to solve a problem, emphasizing total helplessness beyond just a tough spot. To recap, up a creek without a paddle describes a helpless situation with no solution or resources. Rooted in frontier dangers, it paints a clear picture of being truly stuck. Use this idiom when someone faces an impossible situation, expressing utter helplessness and the desperate need for a way out. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is changing the law will be an uphill battle. This means achieving a goal will be very difficult, requiring immense effort and persistence due to significant obstacles. The idiom vividly draws from the ancient human experience of climbing a steep hill. It captures the sense of a prolonged, strenuous struggle, much like an arduous physical ascent. Let's see it in action. First, convincing the community to support the new library project will be an uphill battle. This implies strong resistance, making success difficult. Second, learning a new language in just 6 months feels like an uphill battle, but I'm determined to try. Here it describes a personal, formidable challenge. Both show intense effort needed.
Other phrases offer similar ideas. A long shot suggests a very low probability of success, focusing on the odds, like winning the lottery. A hard slog describes tedious, exhausting work, emphasizing continuous labor, such as a project's final month. Uphill battle specifically highlights sustained effort to overcome obstacles, distinguishing it from these. In summary, changing the law will be an uphill battle perfectly describes tasks that are incredibly challenging, demanding significant effort and resilience against obstacles. Rooted in the ancient experience of climbing a steep slope, it's a powerful way to convey immense difficulty. Use this idiom to describe life's tougher challenges, emphasizing the perseverance required. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is first I lost my job, then my car broke down. When it rains, it pours. This powerful expression perfectly captures those times when one misfortune seems to trigger a cascade of others, making a difficult situation even worse. Essentially, it means that when bad things start, they often don't come alone. They tend to happen in quick succession. Its origin traces back to simple meteorological observations in the 18th century British English, literally describing rain falling heavily and continuously. It was later extended metaphorically to human misfortunes piling up, a vivid way to express a series of unfortunate events. Let's look at how we use this idiom in everyday conversation. Imagine someone saying, I accidentally deleted my entire project and then my computer crashed an hour later. When it rains, it pours. Here, the speaker is expressing how an initial mishap, deleting a project, was quickly followed by another, a computer crash, amplifying their frustration. It highlights the compounding nature of bad luck. In our second example, not only did our flight get delayed, but then we missed our connecting flight and lost our luggage. When it rains, it pours. We see a similar pattern. A single problem, the flight delay, spirals into multiple related issues like missing a connection and losing luggage, making the travel experience a total disaster. Both examples perfectly illustrate the idea of misfortunes not happening in isolation, but arriving in a relentless pouring fashion.
While when it rains, it pours describes a continuous string of misfortunes. To add insult to injury is used when an initial harmful situation is worsened by a subsequent disrespectful act, like losing your job then being publicly criticized. A run of bad luck refers to a general prolonged period of unfortunate events, not necessarily implying direct causation, but a stretch of negative circumstances. Our idiom specifically emphasizes the consecutive, piling nature of misfortunes, often suggesting one bad event directly leads to the next, making things progressively worse. To wrap up, when it rains, it pours is an incredibly descriptive idiom for those moments when bad luck just keeps on coming. Remember its roots in observing heavy rainfall, which vividly paints a picture of troubles piling up. So, the next time you find yourself in a situation where one problem quickly follows another, you'll know exactly how to express that overwhelming feeling. It's a fantastic way to convey a series of unfortunate events with a powerful, relatable image. Keep practicing, and you'll master this idiom in no time. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is he'll apologize when pigs fly. This vivid expression is used to state that something will absolutely never happen, often implying extreme skepticism about a particular outcome or a person's willingness to change. Its roots can be traced back to European folklore and 17th century English proverbs, where impossible scenarios, like animals doing unnatural things, were used to humorously convey that an event is utterly inconceivable. The image of a pig flying is universally understood as an absurd impossibility, making the idiom instantly clear and impactful. Let's see how we can use this expressive idiom in daily conversations. For example, you might say, "My brother said he'd clean his room, but I think he'll clean it when pigs fly." Here, you're conveying your absolute disbelief that your brother will actually clean his room, perhaps because he rarely does. It's a humorous way to express that you expect it never to happen. Another scenario could be, the company promised a huge bonus, but given their financial situation, we'll get it when pigs fly. This sentence shows deep skepticism about receiving the bonus, indicating you believe it's an impossible outcome due to the company's financial struggles. Both examples effectively use the absurdity of pigs flying to emphasize the unlikelihood of an event occurring.
There are several other idioms conveying impossibility. One alternative is, when hell freezes over. This also means never, but carries a stronger, more dramatic tone, implying extreme annoyance or absolute conviction that something won't happen, especially regarding someone's behavior. Another expression is, in a month of Sundays, implying something will take an incredibly long time or never occur due to its extreme unlikelihood. While when pigs fly uses a humorous, absurd image, when hell freezes over is more forceful, and in a month of Sundays emphasizes extreme duration or practical impossibility. To summarize, he'll apologize when pigs fly is a highly descriptive idiom used to express that an event or action will never occur because it is completely impossible or highly improbable. It draws its power from the humorous and absurd image of a flying pig, which everyone understands as utterly fantastical. Remember this idiom when you want to convey strong skepticism or disbelief in a light-hearted yet impactful way. It's perfect for situations where you want to say never with a touch of wit and vivid imagery. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is, this weather is awful. You can say that again. This phrase isn't about literally asking someone to repeat themselves. Instead, it's a lively way to express strong agreement. When you say you can say that again, you're emphasizing that you completely share the speaker's sentiment, feeling exactly the same way about a situation or statement. It emerged from everyday speech in the early 20th century, becoming a common, informal way to reinforce shared opinions. It's a fun, clear way to show you're on the same page. Let's see how we use this idiom in daily conversations. Imagine someone says, "This new coffee shop has the best lattes in town." If you wholeheartedly agree, you might respond with, "You can say that again. I go there every morning." Here, you're not asking them to repeat the compliment about the lattes. You re-enthusiastically affirming their statement and sharing your similar experience. Or consider this, working from home certainly has its perks. Your agreement could be, "You can say that again. My commute is now just a few steps to my desk." Both speakers are expressing a shared positive sentiment about working from home. These examples show how easily "you can say that again" slots into conversation to convey strong, immediate agreement.
There are a few other expressions that convey a similar sentiment of strong agreement. "Tell me about it" is very close in meaning. It suggests that you already know and understand the truth of what the other person is saying, often because you've experienced something similar. "You're telling me" is another excellent alternative. This phrase implies that the statement is so obviously true or familiar that it doesn't even need to be said, but you're glad it was. While "you can say that again" is pure enthusiastic agreement, these alternatives often carry a nuance of shared experience or understanding. So, to wrap up, "you can say that again" is a wonderfully expressive idiom used to show complete and enthusiastic agreement with someone's statement. It's a simple yet powerful phrase rooted in everyday English, signifying that what was said is undeniably true and worth repeating. Remember, it's not a request for repetition, but an emphatic way to say, "I totally agree." Try incorporating it into your conversations when you want to strongly affirm someone's observation. It's a great way to connect and show shared feelings. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is, when will it end? Your guess is as good as mine. It means neither knows when something concludes, implying shared uncertainty. This common expression arose from everyday English conversation around the 19th century, conveying collective lack of information. Illustrating, the project has been delayed so many times. When will it end? Your guess is as good as mine. This conveys shared uncertainty about its completion. Another, this rain has been pouring for days. When will it end? Your guess is as good as mine. Both show mutual lack of foresight.
Similar phrases are, it's anyone's guess, conveying general uncertainty, and who knows, a rhetorical question implying an unknown answer. Our idiom specifically addresses when and emphasizes shared, personal lack of knowledge about an event's conclusion. To summarize, when will it end? Your guess is as good as mine signifies shared uncertainty about an event's conclusion. Originating from 19th century usage. Use it when neither you nor your listener knows a situation's endpoint. It's perfect for expressing mutual bewilderment. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is, the school has a zero-tolerance policy on cheating. It means rules are strictly enforced with no exceptions or discretion, even for minor infractions. This uncompromising policy emerged in the 1980s American law enforcement, emphasizing consistent, strict application of penalties. Let's see zero-tolerance policy in action. A company's harassment policy or a city's littering policy both ensure minor infractions face firm consequences. This idiom highlights uncompromising enforcement across diverse settings, leaving no room for subjective judgment or leniency. It's about strict adherence to rules.
Similar expressions include strict enforcement and uncompromising approach. Zero-tolerance policy specifically implies a formal, declared policy. Rules carry predetermined, strict consequences for any violation, allowing no subjective judgment. It signifies a very firm, official, and non-negotiable stance. In summary, zero-tolerance policy means unwavering, strict rule enforcement with no exceptions. Originating in 1980s law enforcement, it emphasizes an uncompromising approach for consistent consequences. Use it for official policies that allow absolutely no leeway. This idiom clearly conveys extreme strictness and clarity regarding rules. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is the strong economy proved that a rising tide lifts all boats. This signifies general economic prosperity ultimately benefits everyone. Attributed to U.S. President John F. Kennedy, he popularized it in the 1960s to describe how broad economic growth positively impacts all members of society, not just a few. Let's see it in action. First, the city's new tech initiative created jobs and wealth for everyone, proving that a rising tide lifts all boats. This shows broad growth benefits all citizens. Second, when the company's profits soared, executives and staff received bonuses. Indeed, a rising tide lifts all boats. Here, company success lifts all employees.
Similar phrases include, a rising tide floats all boats, which is virtually identical and interchangeable. The difference is minor. Trickle-down economics is a related concept. Rising tide describes general benefits for all from overall growth. Trickle-down is an economic theory where benefits for the wealthy are expected to spread. To recap, a rising tide lifts all boats means broad improvement benefits everyone. Popularized by John F. Kennedy, it highlights how collective prosperity elevates all members. Use this idiom when general progress leads to widespread advantages, describing how overall success creates positive ripple effects, benefiting many. Remember this metaphor. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is that internship gave her a foot in the door at the company. This means getting an initial opening or advantage that could lead to a bigger opportunity, much like a first step into a promising situation. The phrase paints a vivid picture of someone literally stopping a door from closing with their foot, ensuring they have a chance to enter or be heard. This common image, often linked to sales techniques from the mid-20th century, effectively conveys the idea of securing an initial entry point to achieve future success. Let's explore how a foot in the door applies in different scenarios. First, consider her volunteer work was a foot in the door for a full-time position at the nonprofit. Here, the volunteer work wasn't the main goal, but it provided an initial, crucial opportunity to get known and eventually land a permanent job. It was the essential first step that opened up future possibilities. Now, let's look at getting a minor role in the indie film proved to be a foot in the door for his acting career. In this case, the small acting part wasn't the big break itself, but it allowed him to gain experience, make connections, and show his talent, paving the way for more significant roles later on. Both examples clearly illustrate how a small initial opportunity can be the vital stepping stone for much larger achievements down the line.
To convey a similar idea, consider get a foothold, meaning to gain a secure initial position, as in, the company struggled to get a foothold in the market. Another option is break into, meaning successfully entering a difficult field, such as, she worked hard to break into the fashion industry. A foot in the door stresses an initial opportunity, Get a foothold implies a firm initial presence. Break into highlights successful entry into a challenging domain. To recap, a foot in the door perfectly describes an initial chance or opportunity that opens the way for greater success. It stems from the literal image of preventing a door from closing to gain entry, reflecting the importance of that first step. So remember that even a small beginning can be incredibly powerful. Whether it's an internship, a volunteer role, or a minor project, seizing that foot in the door moment can lead you to achieve your bigger goals. Keep an eye out for these crucial initial openings in your own journey. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is, you can trust him. He's a man of his word. This phrase describes someone who consistently fulfills promises and commitments, making them highly dependable. If they say they will do something, you can be sure it will get done. This concept, rooted in ancient codes of honor, emphasizes unwavering integrity in spoken commitments. Let's see this in action. When John promised to help me move, I knew he'd be there. He's always been a man of his word. This demonstrates John's reliability. Similarly, our manager always delivers on commitments. She's definitely a woman of her word. Shows how her actions consistently match her spoken promises, illustrating trustworthiness.
Similar expressions are someone you can count on, for general dependability, and their word is their bond, implying promises are unbreakable. A man of his word focuses on integrity and spoken promises. Use someone you can count on for broader reliability, and their word is their bond for absolute commitment. To summarize, you can trust him. He's a man of his word. Describes someone whose promises are absolutely dependable. Rooted in ancient honor codes, it signifies unwavering integrity. Using this idiom is a strong compliment for an honest, trustworthy person. Use this phrase to praise reliable individuals. I'll see you next time with another great expression.